Welcome to Season 2 of TC 911 Beyond the Call, our Tarrant County 911 District podcast. I'm excited to start Season 2 off with supervisors and managers of the 911 centers we have in Tarrant County 911 District area. I'm also super excited to start Episode 1 of Season 2 with Supervisor Tracy Pulley from City of Irving 911 Communication Center. Good morning, Tracy.
Good morning, Abby.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. I was a little nervous to start this because it's been a while since I recorded.
Well, I guess I was a little nervous too.
Or still will be until we get into the whole chat and conversation. We're in an empty room. No one's here. There's no audience yet until I upload this. So Tracy, tell us about your position here at Irving and a little bit about your current status.
I am the training coordinator and supervisor here at Irving. I have been in Irving for 21 years. I oversee to make sure that all of our telecommunicators, emergency communication officers are current on all of their training. I provide in-house training to them, also help fill in on supervisor duties and also take care of scheduling and all of those types of fun things. So
awesome. And how many supervisors do you guys have on staff here at Irving?
We have 6. We have 4 that handle the normal everyday shift duties. And then we have myself as a training coordinator who fills in. And then also Kathy Laws, who works as our TAC, our terminal agency coordinator, who handles all of our criminal investigative stuff for like NCIC, which is the National Crime Information Center.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Now, some of the terminologies you guys are going to hear, if you were listening to Season 1, you can always refer back to Season 1, but we will try to go back and repeat them and make sure that you understand what we're talking about. But a lot of our staff at the district office, especially our training team, has gone over that, but we will try to pop it in there too. Plus, I'm just saying, if you missed Season 1, you need to go back and watch it. Binge my podcast.
Well, it's binge worthy.
Binge worthy. Yes. I appreciate that. So the training coordinator position, I think that's really interesting because not all public safety answering points or comm centers or 911 centers or emergency communication centers, whatever we're calling them these days.
Whichever acronym we want to use.
Yeah. I just say those guys. I just say my pals at Irving or my pals at Benbrook or my pals here. So how does that come about? Because you guys are bigger. So how did that position come about? When did it start?
It started, before I was here, so it's been a while. So it kind of comes in waves and growth depending on, before on staffing. But now I know for the last 15 years, we've had no issues keeping somebody in that position. We realized we were too big of an agency. Our police and fire training academy, the sergeants and lieutenants and the instructors out there were overwhelmed with officers. So we make sure that we take care of the communication side of it, and it takes a large burden off of them. And we can specialize the training to what we need as communications officers.
For your specific policies and stuff here at the City of Irving.
Exactly.
That's awesome. It's probably a lot more convenient to do it in-house and just to be able to get that going. That's probably got to help your hiring process.
Yes, it helps us in hiring. I can let people know way further in advance what their training schedule is going to look like, how I can get in, and they don't have to worry if it's going to change, one day to the next. And I also hold my TCO Advanced Instructor certification, so I can do a lot of our training in-house and not have to wait on someone else's timeline as to when a training class is available.
To remind y'all too, TCO, because you're going to hear that a lot. I'm probably going to say as long as this podcast exists, that is basically, to put it in layman's term, is basically Texas has laws and policies in place for training to be done a certain way for all Texas public safety. So they're kind of the big brother that makes sure that you follow guidelines and things like that. But it's called TCOL, and it's let me see if I remember. Texas Commission of Law Enforcement.
Texas Commission on Law Enforcement.
Okay, great. Yeah. Awesome sauce. All right. Woohoo. Got 5 gold stars for me. So that's great. So you guys are currently hiring
Absolutely.
Right now. Okay. So those that are looking for careers, you can apply at Irving, and then you'll get to meet Tracy, and then, you'll get her autograph as she signs your job offer for you to work, and it all works out for the best. And, I'm sure you guys have, benefits and everything like everyone else does. And the city.
And we recently got a letter that we have another pay raise that's going to be hitting our books this week.
Are you allowed to tell me what it is?
They will be posting it for supervisors. It was a $2,000 a year increase.
Okay. So, even with saying that, listeners, if you're looking for a career, you know that there's growth in the 911 industry where you can be a supervisor and manager and get these, raises, and the city takes care of you. And then now, too, coming in that there's going to be a pay raise included with that, which is amazing. August 7th. Yes, that's my release of this. So today's August 7th.
Okay, August 7th.
It's August 7th. It's not really August 7th and where we're at right now, but people listening probably like, what happened?
It's August 7th. I'm supposed to be asleep right now because I was supposed to work the night before.
Oh, okay. We missed a few days. So apply. We have Irving listed on our website. That'll take you directly to their website. You can either go to the City of Irving or you can go to tc911.org. So I have to say that I always enjoy coming here, and the environment always seems lovely, and everyone's so welcoming and whatnot. They have. Why don't you talk about the position itself? So, because I know so many agencies are different. Some are just call takers, some are just radios and stuff like that. So, tell me about if someone listening is like, I might be interested in working at Irving, but how are they? Am I taking everything on my own, or do I have a buddy system?
So at Irving, we hire everyone to do call taking. Then they will train for the radio dispatch. We do police only. We don't do fire or medical. So if it's a fire or medical and it's a 911 call, we will transfer it over to our fire department. And then we do the national crime information where we do the warrants and the checks and all of that. So if you come to Irving and you don't have any experience and this is a new career for you, we're going to start you out with 2 weeks of classroom training. Then we're going to train you for about 16 to 18 weeks. Paid training. Remember that. It's paid training, people.
Do benefits start at the same time?
Benefits start the day you start at Irving.
Okay, do you hear that, folks? Okay, paid training, don't have to have experience. I think it's just a high school diploma or GED. Mm-hmm. And, of course, we're going to check your background.
Yes, we're going to check your backgrounds. One thing that actually just came up in a meeting I was at the other day was if you've done something in your background, there could just be a time frame that says, hey, just don't do it for a couple more years.
Stop breaking the law.
Yes, stop breaking the law for a couple years. That's where some people get disheartened. They come in and they try to apply and they get turned down due to whatever. But I always tell people honesty is important, and it's better off to be honest and then find out it's just 6 months or a year or 2 years that you need to wait. Or you might be surprised and it may not be something that affects you at all.
Yeah, and this is case by case situation. So if you're listening and you're like, okay, well, I don't know. Always be honest. And also, it's also agency based. I mean, it's very much on how Irving wants to do it versus if you were to go apply at another city. It doesn't mean that you're a horrible person. It just means it's not the right time. But like Tracy just said, time is of the essence, and it's on your side when it does pass, and then you can always come back and reapply. But yeah, be honest, because there are examples out there of people who work here but it's been not here, but in the career and stuff like that nationwide, that time has passed and it's something like, oh, I've had my license suspended because I kept getting speeding tickets or whatever that is.
Speeding.
I do not speed in a cell phone Sally car. I do not speed in Sally. I don't.
Well, Sally needs to be safe.
She does need to be safe. Plus, she's very noticeable. If you have some indiscretions on your record, just be honest.
Yes, be honest.
And with some other things that fall into that.
Well, and one thing, too, I'll say is I'm big on recruiting, and this career, once you get into it, like I said, I've been at Irving for 21 years, and it's very rewarding. And a lot of, we do have stress, and it is important for all of us to take care of ourselves mentally and things like that. But it's also a lot of fun. You have fun when you come to work. And you talked about the culture or the atmosphere here at Irving. And I had someone tell me a long time ago that someone was working and talking about whether they thought they would fit in. And he goes, well, I can tell you if you don't fit in Irving, you won't fit in anywhere. So we do. We have a really great culture. We know, I tell people all the time, we're spoiled rotten. We get a lot of perks, not just the city perks, but, you know, just working for the PD, being part of a bigger community. Mm-hmm. And it's what it's all about, is being part of a bigger family. It's a place that you can grow. You can, if you decide all of a sudden after a few years that you're not sure you want to be on the headset anymore, if you become an instructor, if you become, you know, you can use that as a stepping stone. I know, you know, at your district, you've got Sophia.
We took Chantel and Sophia from you.
Yes, you stole them.
We're always looking for more. I actually, you know what came up on my Facebook memories the other day? That picture I took of you sitting when you were over there teaching, and I made you a nameplate, and it says Tracy Pulley, Chaos Coordinator.
That's right.
That was 4 years ago.
Wow, it's been a long time. Oh. Time flies when you're full of COVID.
Full of COVID. I know. I always say, like, wait a minute. Okay, there was nothing between then and now. It was just all smear. It's all smear. Yeah, so we, you know, people do, you can use it as a stepping stone for other career advancements, if that's what. But there's also stuff here at the city, you said,
there's stuff here at the city. The time you get hired, like I said, you'll get the call taker training, and then we'll let you work on your own for several months, or you get more. And you're never alone in our room. We have a minimum of 9 plus the supervisor. If you're alone in there, something has gone horribly wrong, or you maybe reported to the wrong spot. I don't know. But... You're never alone in there.
I'm in this room. There's no one in here.
There's a problem. You know, but the thing is, I tell them, as long as you're willing to ask a question, yes, we have our emergency calls that, you know, you need to be trained on, but you're never going to get trained on every single call that comes in and ask a question. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time, and I will never, ever say I've heard it all, because somebody will ask me something, and I'll be like, I don't know the answer, but let's figure this out. So we don't just leave you out there by yourself. You're always going to have that support. You can promote, after you've been here at least 2 years, you can promote to a training officer. It's not really a promotion. You do get an increase in pay, but you don't get any increase in authority. You get that whether you're training someone with you every day or if not, because I use my trainers a lot to rewrite policies, to review materials, to do some classroom teaching. They get that incentive to stay as a trainer. And then if you've been a trainer, you can promote to what we call our senior dispatcher or senior emergency communications officer, and they can act as a supervisor and work in the supervisor's office. We only have 7 of those positions, so they are very coveted promotions for those people. And then usually for our supervisors, we hire within. We will promote one of those senior dispatchers. And then from there, our manager position is also a civilian position that is usually promoted within. Our previous manager had been with the department 36 years, I believe.
Shout out to Kim.
Shout out.
Miss you, Kim.
And then our manager now has been with the department for over 25. So there's a lot of tenure in Irving, and you get tenure because you're a great place for people to work and stay.
Yeah, that's amazing. And, you know, and something else I want to point out with your guys is, you know, there's a lot of great things with all of the agencies in Tarrant County's area. But one thing, too, is you guys have a really great diversity inclusion program here, specific, which I see it more in the larger cities, which is great, like, you know, like Fort Worth and Irving and stuff. Talk to me about that for, you know, diversity inclusion for people that are interested in applying, on how that may apply to them.
Well, first off, Irving is one of the most diverse cities in the United States. We were in the top 10 of diversity just within our demographics in the city itself. But within we have we have a diversity and inclusion engagement group, and we have a committee for the city. So we have one that works specifically for all the different things in the city. Diversity as far as making sure that we're participating in any of the heritage months and the LGBTQ community. The Diversity and Inclusion Committee for the city is very much all things, whether it's ethnicity, background, whatever it is. Now we have a separate engagement group that's been developed for specifically on the LGBTQ community. And we meet once every 2 months, but big on making sure we take any issues or problems that may come up, which we very rarely have within our division here at the police department. Irving is one of the most open and diverse places I have ever worked. They are very much want to make sure that they're doing things the right way. They've recently made it where anyone can, on our city signatures on our emails, you can put what your preferred pronoun is. They've made that part of the city. We all do diversity training, and it's just, and during June, they have big events for Pride. I will say that Irving is very much an accepting and loving, place to work.
That's wonderful to hear. It'd be important to make sure that everyone feels that they can apply, whether your background or your lifestyle or your heritage and things like that.
Exactly.
So that it's a safe place to work and whatnot. So that's really important. And career opportunities and advancements are available for everyone.
Everyone, yes. And we make sure through the inclusion committees that if anyone feels like there was anything that wasn't fair, that it is definitely addressed and looked at.
So anything else with the hiring that you want to add in there as we're kind of...
Be patient.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Especially as you're filling out your background packet.
Yes. Background packets, you may think that we're asking for everything.
They are.
But we are. I think it just comes with the understanding that we're not trying to use the information against you. We're just trying to establish what kind of culture you have in your life. And I remind people, too, when I do interviews, is we can't choose our families.
Yes.
So, a lot of people come to us with some very, unhealthy type of family dynamic. That's how best way I can put it. I tell them, you can't control what your family does. You can't control what family you were born into. You just let us know what those things are, and we can work through that. What affects people the most is who they choose to hang out with, and that can be an issue. But yes, we ask a lot of in-depth personal questions, and you probably roll your eyes and think, why in the world? But I will tell you this, we are looking at you from the time you submit that application through every single process. So doing your due diligence and filling your application out correctly and following rules and following this directions, all the way to filling out that personal history statement, to getting your documents in on a timely manner. All of those things are so important, whether you're applying for Irving or anywhere else, because we're looking at you just like if you walked into our agency and was hired. We're assessing you from that very beginning to whether or not you're going to be a good trainer or whether or not you'll be a good leader eventually. We're going to help you and mold you, but we're also looking at your initiative. And if you're able to take direction and if you're able to follow those directions from the time you fill your application out through the whole process, do your due diligence in filling it out correctly, be timely in getting your stuff returned, and then be patient, because we have investigators who are going to look over those packets, and we only have 1 or 2 supervisors who do it. And that is something they do on top of their normal everyday duties of running the comm center. It
can be tough, especially if you've applied for 2 agencies and you're waiting to hear back from one agency, but then the other agency calls you first. And this is
getting way personal, isn't it? Like that you stood us up and left us.
So long ago, oh my gosh, 10 years ago, I applied at North Richmond Hills, and I applied at several places. The neck and neck was Irving and North Richmond Hills, and I was very transparent with both of them and told them, hey, I have applied for both places because I was in Illinois and I had worked in dispatch already, so I knew that you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, and you want to, because the timing and depending on when you need a job, and I was moving down here and stuff. So I met Tracy 10 years ago and I took my test, and I think a few years back you actually found it.
Yes, I did find it again. Your critical test that you had taken.
Oh my God. I kind of want to take it again just to see what I would get, because I got a pretty good score, didn't I?
Yes.
So I would be so scared that it'd probably be like a 60 now. Yeah. So unfortunately to Tracy, now how my life path has gone, the best, it was the best thing. Who knows what would happen if I would have worked here here.
You'd still be here, probably in my job.
Right. And so North Richland Hills called first, and they made the offer and offered me a start date and stuff like that. And then I felt so bad because I did call Tracy, and I was like, because I could still, I wanted to work for both places, but it was more like I need to get on somewhere and get going. And so it was really tough. And so that's what happened.
Yeah, we do lose a few because of that. But I always tell people, if you don't like where you end up, I'll steal you back.
Yeah. So, now I don't know if it's heard of to steal someone from the district office to go back. Well, I mean,
don't challenge me. I'll see what I can do.
No. I love my job. Plus, yes. I get to see everyone in the county. That's what's amazing. So with your, with your track record and dispatch and stuff, how did that start for a young Tracy?
Wow. Let's see. Let me date myself a little bit, okay?
You started when you were 15.
I did start in public safety at 18 years old.
Okay.
I got my EMT basic, my emergency medical technician basic, when I lived, because I'm from Northeast Arkansas. I worked straight out of school, went to work for an ambulance service where they said, here, save some lives, and here's a guy that can drive the ambulance for you. I was 18. They would not allow me to drive the ambulance because of insurance purposes, but I could save your life. So that's reasonable. Yeah. So as I grew, I reciprocated my license to Tennessee. I went to work in Memphis, Tennessee for a private ambulance service there and worked there for several years and eventually got a little bit burnt out, 12, 14, 16-hour days. Let's just say bad stuff, it gets bad. So it can be very stressful. So I actually quit and I went to work for a vending machine company.
Okay.
For a whole 2 weeks.
2 weeks on filling vending machines.
And then I realized I was in just as much danger when a guy pulled a knife and wanted to rob me while I was filling up a vending machine.
Like he wanted the money out of it, or was he in dire need of Lay's potato chips?
It could have been both. But fortunately for me, it was at one of these labor force places type things in Memphis. And the other people from the labor force jumped up and took care of him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I didn't lose any Lays or money. So
Yeah. They didn't take your snacks or your cash. That's awesome.
But I already knew that I wasn't staying. There was too many ambulances, too many sirens, too much going on, and my head was like, can't stay. Nope, my heart's in public safety. So I had called an ambulance service that had been trying to headhunt me for a long time, and he said, yes, I got a girl going out in maternity leave in 2 months, and you can take her spot. During those 2 months, I needed a job, and I was not going to continue filling vending machines. So I called my old ambulance service back, and he goes, you know what, I got a position in dispatch. You want to come up and dispatch until then? And then you can go over there or you can do both or whatever. And I said, sure. And then that was pretty much it. I started dispatching medical, loved it. Ended up not going back on the ambulance. Stayed in the dispatch world except for a few times where I had to go out and help. But eventually went to Bartlett PD in Tennessee and then came to Texas. Like you said, I applied in lots of different places around here. Sat right here in this very seat I'm sitting at right now and interviewed for the job with about 8 people in the room at the time. Don't worry, people, we don't do 8 people anymore.
What do you guys do now? Because that is, I have to say too, and I even grew up in public. I grew up in a public safety family, and sometimes when people ask me, they're like, well, what's the interview for? I'm like, oh, there's always like a lot of people in the room.
For our frontline, or for our first hires, it's usually one person in a room with you now, maybe 2.
Okay. That's less intimidating.
Yeah. And then when it gets to the background investigator portion, you'll end up with 1 or 2 background investigators and just remember, their job is to intimidate you. They're police officers who are trying to see if you're lying.
Do they get the lights out and grill you?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you still do the polygraph test?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably a big thing to mention too.
Yes. Polygraph, drug screen, psychological, and then a physical. But not physical like in can you carry this tire, like just your normal physical. People need to understand a lot about this career is we have fun. We laugh at everything. We don't take we take calls seriously, and we take we have to take so much seriously that when we get that downtime and we get that moment is we laugh at ourselves, we laugh at each other, and that's a different atmosphere than a lot of people. I think they come in with this as such a serious job. Absolutely, it's a serious job, and we take the part of our job very seriously. But when we do have that moment between calls, or that moment where it's 4 a.m. and not a lot's going on, that we're going to have fun, and we're going to laugh, and we're going to joke, and we're going to make fun of ourselves, and we're going to make fun of each other. We make fun of mistakes we make by, if we call a street a wrong name, or if, we accidentally key up when we don't need to be keying up,
Guilty.
Those open mic nights. That's what you need to have, a podcast of open mic mistakes.
Open mic mistakes. Oh my gosh. I could write a book on my open mic mistakes.
In a different rated version.
It's, I think it can be cleanly done.
Yes, it could be cleanly done.
There could be different words that are used. A lot of it's just more of, most of the time when that happens, I'm just speaking from my own experience, the button that you push, so you can have two types of headsets. You can either hardwire in and plug in, or a lot of dispatch centers use headsets that have a battery pack, and there is a white button on it, but sometimes that white button will just stick, and then you're live for all to hear. And so when that sticks, most of the time if you're doing stuff and you're in, because dispatching is very multitasking, and you really have to be on your A game and making sure you're paying attention, because when it does get busy and everything does hit the fan, you really kind of have to have your wits about you, and you're moving and you're shaking, and your mouth is going to do things after you think that your radio transmission is over with. And sometimes that button sticks, and it's not anything negative. You're just like, sometimes it's just almost like, if you're at work, and this is for any industry, you're at work and you're just like, oh my gosh, when is this going to end? And sometimes you have a few choice words that might slide in there, but you're still keyed up and you say something like that.
Yes.
Or like me, I was very much into singing when different things. And one time I think the ambulance came, I think I was working fire, and this was over 4 cities for a consolidation one. They were telling me they were en route to a hospital, and you just have to repeat back what they say. I went ahead and said it, but then I was still keyed up, and I just started singing en route to North Hill, and I just started singing, and I was like, and then all of a sudden they get on, they were like, dispatch, can you repeat that last traffic? And I was like, oh God. And when that happens, everything, every emotion, every muscle, everything in your body becomes weak.
Yes.
And just goes right out the tip of your toes, and your heart just falls out, and you're just like,
there's a Rolodex that goes in your head of what was just said, what all was said, what all was said.
You're just like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Okay, no, I think it was all good. I think we're fine. Everyone's safe. We're good. No problem. But it can be very animated. It can be very fun. But that's the kind of thing, and that people, we just, you're right. In the career and stuff, because of everything that you all go through, it's important to have those light moments. And I love how you put, it's not that you don't take things seriously. It's these men and women hear so much, and they get the brunt of the first of the everything, where it all starts. And it helps your mental health, because laughter is the best key for mental health. To have a great camaraderie in your center and be able to do that is so important, because you don't want to be fighting your own mental demons, if you will, off of a call you took, and then your atmosphere isn't good either. And so then you're really struggling, and we can't have that. That's not. A lot of agencies really are great on coming together and making light moments and having fun. And you guys are also known for decorating completely out of this world, outrageous and beautiful decorations, as you've won my Christmas contest several years in a row. And you guys have an amazing kitchen that you cook and have different events. And
we, like I said, I told you earlier, we are spoiled, but we also have some very talented people when it comes to the decorating, and they can this is my part of it. Tell me what I'm supposed to put, where I'm supposed to put it, and how you want me to hang it.
Where do I tape this?
You can create it, and you just let me know what I need to do and where it needs to go. But we have some really talented people with these great visions, and everyone gets really into it and excited about it. If you come about a week to 2 weeks before the judging, you would walk in and go, "What's wrong? Something's not right. It's not decorated in here."
So
they will like blow it out of the water.
I have to say, so I do this. Or I used to. We kind of held it back as COVID and the staffing and stuff like that. I hold contests for agencies that want to participate for Christmas decorating. And it's great. It's a great way to do team building and it really, trying to, keep the camaraderie up and everything for all agencies. And I go into Irving and it was like, I was a little nervous because it was only like a week or something out before I had to come back and judge. And I had to go into dispatch for something. I can't remember what I had to, but I had to go in and I was like, oh no, I have to go in there. Are they going to like start freaking out? I go in there and there was nothing up. So I start freaking out because I'm like, are you guys still participating? Because I'm coming next week to judge, right? And then I show up and of course it's just thrown up with everything and it looks great. And I love I always used to take newer staff members from the district and I would always tell them, oh, get ready for this because it's going to be ridiculous. Like I would already be like, ugh. And it got so much to the point that other agencies were like, Irving's going to win. And it wasn't anything out of negativity. It was just kind of, it's all in fun and everybody still enjoyed doing it, but everyone did an amazing job. So, but yeah, you guys are ridiculous when it comes to that. Every time I walk in, I'm like, ugh. They make it like just too easy to be like, okay, come on. Because it's attention to detail. And I'm nice and I give tips when I give out everything. I'm like, I like creativity. I love humor. I love Easter eggs, like just hidden stuff and everything. So when I see that, it just cracks me up, and prior to my own, past eating habits, I used to be like, snacks help.
And I believe that when your eating habits started changing, I reminded them, I'm like, if you're going to do snacks, make sure you're doing healthy snacks.
They got to be healthy. They got to be Abbey friendly snacks.
Abbey friendly snacks.
Yeah, there was a few agencies that had like, we have unsalted almonds for you. We have this for you. But it went from like Rice Krispie, because Rice Krispie treats used to be like my vice, and I love them. And now it's a different option. So, but anyway, so that's, another part of your guys' camaraderie.
Yes.
But you guys also decorate for TC Week,
We do decorate for TC Week. The supervisors will get together. We will vote on a theme. I can't remember what we did this year, but I know in the past we've done beach themes where we even brought in sand.
Oh my gosh.
And made a little beach, and we've had people riding the bicycle up and down our ramp to get in, and we've done game night where we had the whole room look like a giant Monopoly board, and we had it taped up around the room, and we had giant dice. Everybody got to roll the dice. And then that year I got arrested for holding up the Monopoly bank.
Whoa, okay. You need to maybe kind of clarify that. That was even I was like, wait a minute, what? I need to pause the podcast.
So the supervisor's office was the Monopoly bank, and we had it decorated. I came in and robbed the bank. So there's pictures where they have me over in CID with all the Monopoly money, laid out in front, and some cigarettes, but we weren't actually smoking. They were just laying there
fake cigarettes,
like a fake interrogation. And then there's also pictures of them having me in handcuffs and taking me into the jail and putting me in a cell for robbing the Monopoly bank that year.
That's fun.
But that's, like I said, that's what it is. It was all about having a good time. And
you guys get great participation from your officers to help too. Because when we did the National Lampoon's theme, and that officer came up and was Cousin Eddie and I'm sure all you listeners know what scene I'm talking about. He's emptying his RV into the sewer, and he's, and this officer had the hose, he had the hat, he had a, he obviously couldn't have a beer, but it was, death something, one of the liquid
energy,
something like that. It was, I walked right in and I started immediately laughing. Like I just lost it because I was like, oh my God, that's classic. And there were some other agencies too that were really good at having the role playing with their officers, and I was amazed. So that's great to hear. You guys did do the what was the one for the Texas? Didn't you decorate the room? That was
we did.
during
We did
COVID.
a roundup. Like we had it decorated all in like a OK Corral, like Texas themed. We had place set up for people to take pictures.
Yeah, because you could be the X.
Yeah,
because I took my picture
X,
there.
yes.
Yeah,
and I had a cooler that had like the rustic Texas, and we kept it in the middle of the floor full of drinks and stuff for everybody.
Non-alcoholic
caffeine, as in Monsters and stuff to stay awake.
Scary.
All those things. No.
Scary monsters.
Scary monsters. Yeah, we do. We just have fun with it. And if you go into our back server room, sometimes you'll run across the giant RV from the National Lampoons, or you'll see the picture where you could do your X. They would keep a lot of that stuff.
Right.
Try to reuse it if we can, if not. But yeah, we did decorate for that. Cowboy hats we bought. We bought cowboy hats and bandanas and stuff. So
that's awesome. It's just great. Like I said, that's, I love that you guys do that, and you decorate even off, when it's not Christmas, or not when I'm hosting something that the district is wanting to participate in. So again, that boils down to the camaraderie that you were talking about that you guys have here at 911, or for Irving 911. Yeah. So
and
that's
like
important.
You mentioned our break room is second to none. We have double ovens and 3 microwaves and cabinets that look like they come out of your home instead of.
Yeah, they can definitely throw a good birthday. You guys always celebrate birthdays, retirements, baby showers, weddings, whatever.
Whatever we can think of to bring food and.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a great career and you want to eat well and be taken care of and decorate and have fun and love hugs and unicorns and kittens, you should apply.
Yeah,
there's many great agencies, but Irving is one of them in our district area. And actually, you know what? I guess I should say too, because I wonder if someone's probably thinking,
why is Irving in Tarrant County District? We all ask that question, but we just embrace it. No.
When the legislation came through to do it, Irving asked if they could be a part of it, or some sort of conversation happened.
We were given the choice to either be independent, I think, at that time, or be part of COG. At the time, it was, instead of North Central Texas 911, it was North Central Texas Council of Government. And for some reason, I don't know if it had something to do with geography, but Irving was given the option to join Tarrant County's district, and that's what they opted to do. And I'm thankful that they did, because I think our district spoils us rotten. And I have basically a second career at the district, whereas being able to teach and stuff. Yeah. That I've been out there, and
it's been a while though. Yeah. I haven't seen you there in a while.
A lot of things have, I've been really busy. I got asked to go to Laredo and teach, and I had to tell them that it would have to be after the first of the year. And we're halfway through this year.
Yeah. And that's another part of joining the public safety, the whole 911 family, because, you teach on the side too. Like you'll arrange your schedule here at Irving, and then you go and you teach dispatchers. And what are some of the courses that you do?
I teach active shooter, teach tactical dispatch. I've been part of the basic licensing, crisis communications, help build the foundations of retention and teach that one. Recently, I gave a thing on succession planning, but leadership, pretty much, I stay very active in the Texas 911 trainers, which is a group of trainers across the state. And we stay very active with TCO, the Commission on Law Enforcement, to help with writing and making sure curriculum is up to date and things like that. And recently I served on the telecommunicator CPR committee to write that course material, and worked with TCO on that. So it gives me an opportunity, I love to get behind the radio and dispatch still. Did it yesterday just because I enjoy still dispatching. I enjoy, helping people and taking calls. I enjoy also getting out, networking, being part of the different APCOs and NINAs and
making a difference.
Yes.
You like to put because you have so much vast experience now with over 20 years. It's like you want to give your imprint, and you want to kind of help raise the other dispatchers up to those standards, and to give them all of the information and and training that they need. And that's really great. So thank you for everything that you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you guys can see right now that, there's so many possibilities within 911 and the cities that you choose from, whether it's Irving or several of the other ones that we have. But this is just a little taste of one of the agencies here in our area. So if you are interested, you will get to meet Tracy. And like I said, you'll get her autograph when she makes the job, when she offers you a job, and it'll be great. And, I don't know, maybe you can have her, you can print out the podcast in like a web form and then just like have her sign. And who knows?
And when we ask the question, like, what research have you done on the position you're applying for? I watched Tracy on the podcast, or I listened to Tracy on the podcast.
Listen to Tracy on the podcast. So that's awesome. And then she'll tell me, and then I'll feel all giddy because you listen to my podcast. So that's awesome. So I really appreciate your time, Tracy.
Well, thank you.
I don't want to keep you, since you're so busy, I don't want to hold you up any longer.
We appreciate all you do for the district. And I was listening to your podcast with Chantel, and, where you've taken your position and what you've been able to do for the PSAPs and getting that message out there has been very frontier-like. I mean, it's right there, and pushing it and helping. When I say frontier, I mean because nobody had done it before, and you're pushing it to that level, and you're making 911's voice be heard other than, do you have an emergency? Yeah.
Well, I always say I work for you guys. That's the end of that's where I draw the line.
You took the job at North Richland Hills. You don't really work for me, but
I work for you guys. It's not the other way around. So I am I love being your cheerleader. I love doing whatever I can to help out when I can and things like that. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And everyone, thank you so much for listening. I'm excited to do season 2, and we just finished episode 1. So join us next time as we talk to another supervisor from one of our many other different agencies in Tarrant County. And remember, you can listen to our podcast on our website and all of your popular favorite podcast platforms. And until next time, have a fabulous week.